Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Alan Wake. Let's continue. I guess Alan Wake is a terrible joke name for a wake. As in somebody who is awake.
I recognized the parade float I had seen in Bright Falls when I first arrived with Alice.
So there's this indication that he has been here in Bright Falls for a very long time, and I'm looking for a way in and the last piece of the collectibles. I suppose at the end of the day, if I was to play this on nightmare difficulty, I'd
After the
have to...
insanity I just experienced in the darkness, the lights of the gas station felt comforting, at least for a moment. The sane world reasserted itself.
Like, it would be nice if in nightmare difficulty you could just run around with like maybe better guns, an infinite flashlight, and just pick up the things that are necessary. And here we have the last manuscript page, which, just to make sure, that is the last one in regular difficulty. There's still 3 for the others. This game is giving me a lot of trouble. Like,
The Doom Fest had been 2 weeks away when we arrived. If the day count on the banner was right, I was missing a whole week between the night we got here and now.
Let's see, I'm totally... I was supposed to look at that direction. And look at the price of gas, it's pretty high. Another scary thing, certainly, and seems like you could just walk that direction if you wanted. I gotta run now. I gotta speed this up.
I had to get inside the gas station to find a phone to call for help.
And again, it seems like you could go that direction. And getting in the gas station, is it gonna be as easy as just walking? Look at that focus, wow. What a camera shift. And boy, is that a old-fashioned tiny gas station.
The garage was a mess. It looked like someone had trashed the place, or that there'd been some kind of fight.
All
right. I'll keep writing. Outside there's only darkness. Outside the cabin, outside the story, there's only darkness. I can feel her presence in the dark. Just now, I could smell her perfume in the room. I'll reach her, I'll fix it up. I'll bring her back. The story will come true. If I stop, she's lost. I don't believe this. It'd been me on the TV, talking crazy. Was I losing my mind?
Seems like it. So, in the first week, it seems like he killed his wife, and then he's trying to write a story to make it come true, to bring her back. Do we want to use the phone? Not quite yet. Let's just double check. No coffee thermos next to the coffee. And here's a map, I imagine, of what the entire game is. If that's the case, you can see there's very long linear areas, and that's kind of it. It didn't even dial, they didn't animate it.
Rainbow Sheriff Station.
He's tried that twice now. First time it was broken.
Oh, thank God, Sheriff.
Sheriff Sarah Breaker, you are...
I'm Alan Wake, but listen, I was in a car crash. My wife, Alice, she's missing.
Calm down, Mr. Wake.
We were staying in a cabin on the island, on Cauldron Lake.
There's no island on Cauldron Lake, not since the big eruption in the 70s.
Please, I can take you there, okay?
You look like you've taken a pretty bad knock to the head.
Yep.
Are you okay?
Listen.
We'll figure this out. Please get in the car. We'll swing by the lake and then we'll go to the station, okay?
Why not take him to the hospital
Mr.
first?
Wake, have you seen Stucky, the guy who owns this place?
I realized I couldn't tell her what had happened in the forest. She wouldn't have believed me. And then she wouldn't have helped me with Alice.
So, one's down if there's 10 episodes. So, there was a cabin on the lake. Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Alan Wake. Let's continue. I guess Alan Wake is a terrible joke name for a wake. As in somebody who is awake.
I recognized the parade float I had seen in Bright Falls when I first arrived with Alice.
So, there's this indication that he has been here in Bright Falls for a very long time. And I'm looking for a way in and the last piece of the collectibles. I suppose at the end of the day, if I was to play this on Nightmare difficulty, I'd
After the
have
insanity
to...
I just experienced in the darkness, the lights of the gas station felt comforting. At least for a moment. The sane world reasserted itself.
Like, it would be nice if in Nightmare difficulty you could just run around with like maybe better guns, an infinite flashlight, and just pick up the things that are necessary. And here we have the last manuscript page, which, just to make sure, that is the last one in regular difficulty. There's still 3 for the others. This game is giving me a lot of trouble. Like, I just...
The Doom Fest had been 2 weeks away when we arrived. If the day count on the banner was right, I was missing a whole week between the night we got here and now.
And see, I'm totally... I was supposed to look at that direction. And look at the price of gas, it's pretty high. Another scary thing, certainly, and seems like you could just walk that direction if you wanted. I gotta run now. I gotta speed this up.
I had to get inside the gas station to find a phone to call for help.
And again, it seems like you could go that direction. And getting in the gas station, is it gonna be as easy as just walking? Look at that focus. Wow. What a camera shift.
Worst weather I've ever seen.
You should put some coffee on. It'll warm you up.
Somebody animated this and spent some time animating all of this. And
Coffee's on.
Great, thanks. I'll need it if I'm gonna finish this by tomorrow.
and see, clearly the storm here is designed to make it easier for them to not have to animate more of this New York window, although this is a big New York apartment, so clearly he's been more successful than I would have thought, more successful than probably most authors could even hope to be. But maybe she was rich too. And with the small exception of having your laundry in your bathroom, that's a pretty big bathroom.
continuing freezing rain and heavy snowfall necessitated a winter storm warning in the entire tri-state area. People are advised to stay
Wandering Pines was an alright TV series, I suppose. It really didn't go anywhere.
now on the third day of the blizzard, and the weather's
It was a Fox
anytime soon.
channel TV show, so that means that it wasn't ever going to get a fair shake in the first place. Fox is very flippant about canceling things early and quick. Oh, what interesting way to build a apartment. You have a door that leads to nothing, and then a bedroom and a bathroom. And inherently there's a square in this closet that's missing, because this closet should be able to go back about another 4 feet to line up with this wall. And this is just not how I'd want to do it. I'd want to do an angle, make this more of an inviting entryway, and maybe have the bathroom over there, but maybe not. It's an odd way to design a house. I took one term of architecture design, so I did draft apartments and houses a little bit, enough to know, just learn some basics. It was quite fun. I'd recommend anybody take drafting, even if they're not going to make a career out of it. Here's another QR code that is pretty detailed, but if people want to pause the game and take a picture there. Of course, doing a QR code, unless the QR code tells you something along the lines of type in this key combination, it probably just takes you to a website.
I just finished those cover mock-ups. They're on your desk. Tell me what you think.
No kidding. I didn't think you'd get them done this quickly.
On occasion, I can perform all sorts of miracles, my dear.
And you can pick up the coffee thermos from over
You
here.
to think so last night.
Wow, that's pretty far. So she's a famous photographer, and I guess between an author and a photographer's salary in New York, you might be able to. And I can't run, so the game is, again, just wasting our time. This isn't, almost certainly, it's not a scenario where you can change the past from 3 years ago, or like it's going to matter what you do in 3 years in the past. Examine this.
These look really good.
Oh, sure, until Barry gets his hands on them. Which, by the way, will happen over my dead body. The last time was the last time. Oh, and speaking of Barry, he called. Alan! Alan! Please check the fuse box.
I'm right here. I'm on it, honey.
Please hurry.
I'm right here, baby.
I'm fine. Just get the lights back on. Now, please.
Honey, it's a power outage. I've got the flashlight.
Okay.
So she's really...
You okay?
If you're this
I'm
terrified
sorry.
of darkness...
It just really spooked me.
Don't worry.
Then...
We'll just break out the candles.
Have a
I know.
flashlight on you at
but
all
it's just-
times.
Especially when I'm not prepared for it, you know? It gets to me.
I love you.
Tell me a story, Ryder.
Okay. I used to have these nightmares when I was a kid. The dark really spooked me, too. When it got really bad, my mom gave me this old light switch. She called it the clicker.
The clicker, huh?
Yeah. If I ever got scared of the dark, I could just flip the switch and a magic light would scare the monsters away.
Oh, sure.
Here it is.
Alan.
Maybe it'll help you, too.
Yeah, nice story, Ryder boy. You made that up right now, didn't you?
No. Seriously.
I love you, even if you are a liar. Thanks for this.
And you would kind of think that this might be a memory, and we're going to find a clicker, and then the clicker is going to become an integral weapon in our fight, but I heavily suspect that's not the case.
How do you feel, Mr. Wake?
At all.
Nausea, disorientation, anything like that? Mr. Wake, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. My head's fine. I had to lie about my headache and memory loss. He'd send me to a hospital for tests. I couldn't leave without Alice.
Very well. I don't think you have a concussion, but you've obviously been through quite a shock. You should take it easy for a couple of days.
Thanks.
Well then, Mr. Wake, we're done here. If the pain gets any worse or you experience any other symptoms, you should come see me. I'll let you get on with it then. Sarah, Sheriff Breaker, is waiting for you. She's very good at her job. I'm sure she can locate your wife in no time.
Doc Nelson was the image of a small-town doctor. Sheriff Breaker had called him to the station to take a look at the cut in my head.
That's pretty bad writing. He was the image of a small-town doctor, therefore I don't have to use any descriptive words to
I'm sorry you had to cut your morning fishing short for this, Doc.
You don't have to describe him any further.
Not the biggest I ever caught, if you can believe that coming from an old fisherman like me, but she's right up there.
Then bumping things around. And then I don't think anything's gonna happen. I think we'll probably have a whole daylight, like daytime section. So either the game is gonna skip or we're gonna jump into darkness.
Thank you for testing the lights, Miss Weaver. Everything seems to be fine. I don't have the luxury of being complacent, Deputy Grant. The bulbs will need changing soon. You can't change them in the dark. I'll be sure to take care of it, Miss Weaver. Have a nice day now. Very good. I'll come back later on to remind you, just in case.
So there's the crazy lady who doesn't seem that crazy. And we have some missing things. Like, could all of these people have been the people I just shot with the gun?
Come in, Mr. Wake. Your phone's on the desk. The battery was dead. It's charged now.
And see, I'm just not sure which way I should go first.
Mr. Wake, the sheriff is waiting for you in her office down the corridor. That was Cynthia Weaver. I guess you can call her the town eccentric. She used to be the editor of the local newspaper, but she's focused on other things these days.
She'd fit right in where I come from.
As you can see, she's a little obsessed with maintaining the light bulbs of the whole town, refuses to step on shadows, things like that. Back in her day, she wrote about all sorts of weird things in the paper. Bright Falls has a colorful history. Of course, what small town hasn't?
So, she very possibly could have been a character in a prequel. Now, I find it a little unbelievable that both the sheriff and the deputy sheriff / secretary, whatever she actually is, both female.
It's Mulligan here. I'm at Stucky's gas station with Thornton. There's no sign of him. Over.
Wait. Yeah, this is Thornton. Look, we've located the brake float. It's here. That's some good news, right? Stucky was supposed to be driving it at the rehearsal today. Over.
Oh, give me that. Mulligan here. Looks like someone really thrashed the garage. Over.
Okay, roger that, guys. Keep looking for Stucky. Jane's out.
So there's multiple stations for the sheriff's office. Those are just people in different places. That's interesting. It was parallel to begin with, and then I straightened it.
Sheriff Breaker is waiting for you down the corridor in her office.
Like, some stereotypes are there for a reason, and the idea of a small town having 2 female sheriff
Your phone, Mr.
people, it's kind of hard to believe. That seems almost like just written oddly. Maybe I'm
Make
Maybe I'm
sure you
wrong
don't
on
forget
this.
your phone.
So we pick up our phone.
Have you started looking for my wife yet?
My men are already on it. Now, can you tell me what happened?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. We were arguing. I walked out of the cabin.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake? How did you end up at Stucky's gas station?
Why did it jump to a
I wanted to tell her
cutscene
what
like
had happened
this?
last night, but I couldn't. She'd locked
Why
me
go
in.
from in-game to animated?
Excuse me. I need to take this.
Brought to you by Verizon, apparently. A lot of product placement.
Alice, please help me.
I've never seen
Alice?
anything
Stop talking to the
this
law.
bad.
You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife again.
Who is this?
Go to the back lot. There's a hole in the fence on the left. Look inside the junker. I left a little something there to convince you we're all on the same page here. After you ditch the cops, you're gonna meet me in Elderwood National Park. There's a spot called Lover's Peak. Midnight. Don't do nothing stupid, pal.
Mr. Wade, can I help you with anything?
I need to get some air. The sheriff said I could go out back. I couldn't go anywhere yet. I had to play along with the caller. Alice's life was at stake.
He's one of our regulars.
Oh, this was the back exit.
Hey, can you turn the light? The light's on. The deputies, they don't understand. They won't listen. Thank you, man, thank you. Hey, you're all right. You're a good guy. Don't let anybody tell you different.
So the story has changed now. Instead of her mysteriously disappearing, now she's mysteriously
hurt my eyes and made my head ache. The man on the phone had said, "Go through the fence on the left."
like they're now she's kidnapped. This seems like a basic level of insanity where you'll just run into different scenarios over and over again.
Folks, it's been another long night.
Many scenarios trying to deny. That's the idea, is it's denial of the fact that she's dead and that he killed her. And so he'll, in each episode, it feels like Alan Wake is going to write a fiction that he's living, where the wife is still alive and she's missing, and it's not his fault, and he has to do something because you have to be an active participant in your fantasy, but it also has to subconsciously not be actually achievable, because then the fantasy ends if you get to a point and realize you can't actually save her because she's actually dead or not actually there.
Alice's driver's license had been placed on the front seat. The caller meant business.
It would probably be better if we stuck with this story, though, and it didn't change.
Ow, thank God! Where the hell have you been? I've been trying to reach you for a week, you and Alice. I've been worried sick. I flew out yesterday. I'm here in Bright Falls.
Barry, listen to me. I'm at the sheriff's station. Come and get me. I can't talk now.
Al, what the hell is going on?
I had to get the sheriff to let me go. I needed to get to Elderwood National Park to meet Alice's kidnappers.
And apparently I can't pull this lever and climb up here, which, boy, that sure seems like that's the plan. But whatever. More radios. I'm just gonna turn them on and walk away. Here's a TV, which clearly...
A writer is a light that reveals the world of his story from darkness, shapes it from nothingness. The way a sculptor carves a statue from a block of granite. If I stop, the world I'm making dies. Darkness will reclaim it. It's a long, hard journey into the dark. Alice's life is at stake, but I can't think about that, or I'll lose it. The dread lingers at the edge of perception. I'll push on. Anything is possible here. I'll write the story. I'll save her.
And see, there's no way to not, in at least some way, assume he's crazy.
On their recent and regrettable little outing. They are are not accountable for their actions, of course, I can assure you that my staff has been reprimanded.
Tor and Odin never caused any trouble to anyone when they were still living at their farm.
Indeed. All we can do.
Are you feeling any better, Mr. Wake?
Apparently, I could have listened to that longer.
Am I free to go?
Well, we still need to talk about...
Am I under arrest?
No, of course not. But I need to know where you'll be staying so I can get in touch with you.
I'd avoid the motel. The Majestic is known for its roaches. The cabins at Elderwood are pretty nice, though.
That sounds perfect.
I'm Dr. Emil Hartman. I'd like to invite
I know
you to
this
stay
guy.
at Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Did you talk to my wife?
Oh,
I
his
had the
face.
pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something
No,
up
this
with her?
is a different
I
guy.
invited her here. My clinic is a place where...
Oh, hey! Oh, my!
Take it easy.
Hey, nobody move! Get your hands off of my client!
Who are you?
I'm Barry Wheeler, his agent. If you have business with Mr. Wake, you talk to me. You yokels won't know what hit you once I sick my lawyers on your asses.
No harm done, Sarah. I'm all right. I don't want to press charges. Mr. Wake, my offer still stands.
Get me out of here.
It's not a smart move,
What the
and
hell was
probably
that about,
not
Al?
an ethical
You don't
move
need
for
a replay
a
of that
psychologist
thing with
to
the paparazzi.
continue to
I thought
treat
they were gonna
people
lock you
after
up.
they've hit them, or even start to treat somebody after they've hit them.
I had to talk to someone. I told Barry everything. He thought I was certifiable, but when he heard about the manuscript, I had him. The fact that I'd written something, even if I couldn't remember it, was enough for him. He smelled money. And he believed that Alice had been kidnapped. Anything beyond that was another story. I had a midnight appointment with the kidnapper in a place called Lover's Peak, somewhere in Elderwood National Park. The plan was to rent a cabin.
I don't like it, Al. I don't like any of it. It's not good. In fact, it's the absolute opposite of good.
Mr. Wake! Barry, you found him!
Hi, Rose.
Oh, wow. I was just thinking about you, too.
Great.
I was just bringing Rusty some coffee. He's on the balcony, looking after Max. Poor thing. I really need to go. Great to see you again, Mr. Wake. Later!
Who's Max?
What an airhead.
Jeez, Mr. Takes a swing at everybody. This is not her fault. She's a very nice girl and, more importantly, a fan.
So I'm really trying to figure out what's the point where you just make a TV series or you pitch your book.
Seriously, Al, what you were saying
Like,
in the car? Just listen to yourself. What, you shot a guy and his body just disappeared?
like, there's so little video game here. Why not just have the video game people make a different video game and the writer of the story make that?
When was the last time you slept?
Of course,
Have you been drinking?
the issue is
Barry, I'm missing a week, and someone's got Alice,
Do
and
you
everything's just...
understand what it sounds like when you say stuff like that? Don't get me wrong, it's a good story, could be a bestseller. But when you start confusing fiction with reality, you're buying yourself a ticket to the funny farm.
Wait here.
And conversations just kind of start and stop depending on where you walk. Pick up that coffee thermos from off screen. You'd think the camera would... I suppose the idea is that this was going to be a lot more gameplay in between all the cutscenes, and that's where they went over budget.
Easy there, boy.
That's where they failed.
Hey, Rusty, right? You rent cabins.
Oh, Mr. Wake. I'd shake your hand, but mine are kind of full here. Actually, I'm sorry about this. Would you mind grabbing the registration form from the desk? It's just across from Bucktooth Charlie.
Okay, sure. What happened?
Crazy poachers. Max here got his foot caught in a trap. They're illegal to use here. Hell, you're not supposed to hunt
And
within the
meet
park
a
at all.
kidnapper?
That doesn't
Those
stop
situations always end up in disaster. You gotta talk to the cops.
She's my wife, and it's my call. Can we talk
Did
about
I
this
sign the form or did I pick
This
it up?
whole thing... Listen, You hit your head. I mean, geez, Al, come on.
It's like, I just don't care about the story. You haven't intrigued me enough in the game to want to stand and have all these conversations. This is not The Witcher 3's experience.
I think this is the form you wanted.
And here are the keys. Okay, you're all set, Mr. Wake. Glad to have you staying here.
So I get the keys.
Can you tell me how to get to Lover's Peak?
Oh, sure. It's at the end of the nature trail. Just follow the paths, you'll get to it eventually. It's an easy walk. Nice spot, too.
So I imagine this is the dog that wandered off and we heard on the
If you
radio.
have any trouble finding it, just keep your eyes on the radio mast. It's right below that.
And
Pull a joke on me. Freak me out? It's working.
if you were doing something like Firewatch, where it's just conversation and you're walking around, then there's really not that much. I don't even know if that was the right way, but...
That's just crazy talk, Al. Al? We should go to the sheriff or call the FBI.
Damn it, Barry, they'll kill her. This is not a goddamn debate, Barry. I'm going to Lover's Peak. He said to come alone.
Okay, okay then. I understand. You're my best friend, and I'm worried that you're not right in the head.
Clearly, he didn't ask for money.
And I'll do it.
You stay here, and if I'm not back by morning, call the cavalry.
But honestly, what gameplay would have taken place in that whole area when it was lit up? Just finding collectibles.
Bless you.
Unless you add something to this game and take away the darkness element. And he just never shuts up, does he? Switch the lights.
Real funny, Al. Real funny. Ha ha. Thank you. Sit here in the dark till you come back, or until I get eaten by a grue.
And it's just like more batteries. We only have 9 batteries now. We had 18 before. A lot of doors that are locked. Yeah, and certainly games like Gone Home.
I didn't realize we were back in the 3rd grade here.
Are games that were set in dark, spooky places. But there was a lot of understanding of making something scary by establishing atmosphere, and in this case it's just not like that. It's just wander around. Okay, so you can't go that way. I could have probably assumed that. And no gun. And they didn't find a gun on me, so what happened there?
I'll hold down the fort. I'll be with you in spirit every step of the way, Al.
I do have a gun, but only a gun. So the shotguns, the flare guns, they're all gone. This is a tiny episodic game full of collectibles. And honestly, it would be better if this was just like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, where
I knew I should have gone to the cops.
when there's gameplay,
But I was still angry with Barry for trying to talk
it's
me out.
actually thought
These people
through.
had called me right in the sheriff's station. The cops wouldn't scare them, and they had Alice.
Well, we know what's gonna happen, so let's just move forward. I suppose we could look and just see how many pages there are. And that's quite the collection.
Welcome back to the show, folks. As promised, our very own
My book seems to be all over the place, or the same books seem to be everywhere.
My plan? You make it sound a lot more organized than I ever seem to manage.
Visitor center. That way. Have a playground. Drop hazard. I kind of felt like that was going to trigger. Two different things triggered right there. So I got close enough to this light for it to go out, and in that process, let's see. Can I carefully walk around this way? Yes, but I have to be pretty careful. See, that's just another Twilight Zone. There's nothing here. If something like Gone Home had been episodic and I don't know how that would have improved anything. This is a 9-year-old game, so realism is certainly hurt now because this just does look like CGI animation, that is computer generated images, and that issue takes me out of being interested in the game. But particularly it's gotta catch you with an intriguing hook, and being a hack writer writing a hack story, it's real hard to interest people to accomplish that. Like, is there really not even going to be any fight for a while? Like, we've collected almost half of them.
The vision left me weak. This was no head injury.
Let's run towards the bullet.
Rusty, hang on! I'm coming! Please, help me!
How could that be Rusty? Did he... How would he have beaten me to the point where... And you can kind of just assume that there's really no time factor. Where is he?
The ranger's office was locked. I'd need a key to get in.
So there is a ranger's office on top of a sheriff's office. Interesting. So they're implying this is a bigger area than they would have thought. I would have thought. But all I'm doing is picking up pieces of paper and thermoses of coffee, which never in my life have I ever said to myself, boy, I would love a game where I do that. How did we go full circle?
Hello?
Well, I guess we didn't. This is actually the place we started, and then we came back. We were in a different cabin before. And see if this was going to be a monster that showed up. That would be cool.
Mr. Wake?
Oh, hell.
It happened just the way it was on that page. I found. Came true. It knew. So dark. It'll come back for me. You must... The lights. In the office. I have the key.
Okay, Rusty. Hang on. I'll be right back.
And he just died right there.
Whatever did this couldn't be far. Rusty had found a page from the manuscript. It would help me understand what had happened.
And
shh, good boy.
A dog that big could easily knock over this whole thing, free himself and help his master, and almost certainly would. And the problem here is, well, this would be a character that would confirm what's going on and all this craziness. He's gonna die, and because he's gonna die, then you'll just be back to assuming that Alan Wake dreamed up or hallucinated him at all.
The only way to make sure that Rusty was safe was to get the power running and the lights back on.
And see, Alone in the Dark, a attempted reboot of Alone in the Dark used a similar system to this, and boy was that an awful game. Let's pick up the manuscript and go through here. We're just running and gunning because that's the juxtaposition is this is a run and gun game in its interactions with the enemy, but it's a scary horror game.
Someone had destroyed the circuit breaker. There was no way to get the lights back on.
There was a PlayStation game that came out pretty recently that did this idea a lot better. What was the name of that?
The ground was covered with oily patches that looked like liquid darkness.
Well, do I have to be worried about the liquid darkness? Well, the game that was a PlayStation exclusive was it's a based on the butterfly effect idea. And we can see if I actually need to use the... And see, he got consumed by the darkness.
Something had torn a mammoth-sized hole in the wall.
Was that the dog?
Fishing is only permitted for those visitors who purchase a park fishing license. Obey the park ranger's instructions at all times. Rusty? Rusty, no! Never! To bears and wolves, never approach any other wildlife closer than 25 yards. Pets must be leashed. Never leave your pet unattended.
And with these types of enemies and their fast movement, like
this includes even you may or even simple berries.
And boy, can you not take hits. And I've got only one gun. And there's no health pack. That's something that Resident Evil 4 would have allowed for. Let's try to hit him in the head. And I do not like how it takes more time to reload. These guys throw axes at you, which I guess maybe I could adjust for that and shoot. It is also possible that maybe I just need to put the light on them and shoot them and not completely destroy the darkness. But the problem here is you're just not fighting your real enemy. So we've just hit a checkpoint, and let's be realistic here and look at everything. Wake reaches the safe haven of light. There's a considerable amount of collectibles still, so this is going to be a longer level of pretty much just the same thing. I don't even know what kind of enemies you would introduce on top of this to make them more difficult. Maybe you'll have some people shoot guns back at you. I guess that makes sense. Maybe you'll have more birds, certainly. Maybe it will go in a grotesque monster sense, but then that doesn't make the most amount of sense so far as the story has gone. I suppose we're trying to reach Lover's Peak, but for what reason? It seems like two very different things are happening. One, your wife has been kidnapped, and two, people are being consumed by the darkness and attacking you and other people. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.